Are we going to start?
Yeah, I think we can start.
Gentlemen,
Perhaps I should say that again. I think we can start. Good, thank you. I forgot to say to Claudio, thank you very much for the bottle of wine. We look forward to that. What none of you will know is that we started our business around a bottle of Scotch whisky. The closer we got to the bottle of the Scotch whisky, the better the idea, the commercial idea of starting our recruitment business became. And unusually, when you get closer to the bottom of a bottle of whisky and have a good idea, the idea was still pretty good the following morning. So now we're coming to in many ways, the most significant part of the afternoon. We have pressed David Beach into yet another job, which we're very grateful. David is going to introduce the books to us, and then after David's introduced the books, Simon will take over as our vice president and deal with the matter of the winner of the Crawford Medal for this last year. So, David, floor is yours. Simon, stand by your bed.
Thank you for that. I'm not going to introduce the books. I'm going to introduce the process by which all this happens, because I rather hope that you've all done your research and read the reviews that appear in the handout. Contrary to what's just been said, the Crawford Medal Committee, of which I am a long-standing member, do not consume any alcohol during its meetings. Yes, afterwards we have a good lunch, perhaps. Well, we're here today to award the Crawford Medal for this year, 2023. Those are for books published in the years 2021, 2022. We've had some 30 books overall that have been entered, and I need to read to you, and I'll read this from the text to make sure I get it right because the words are enormously important, the text by which we are judging the books. Just get to the right part. We are awarding the Crawford Medal for most valuable and original contribution to the study and knowledge of philately published in book form, relevant period. The relevant period is the last 2 years. Now, it's important to get across to you that this has no connection whatever with any FIP exhibition, with any FIP judging marks. This is not relevant to the criteria by which we are judging this award. People have suggested that because they've got a very high number of marks, they should be getting the Crawford Medal. This is not how we judge it. We do not take that into consideration at all. And I think it's quite important that statement is made quite clearly. Submissions, which may be made by anyone in the world, should be received by the 31st January in every year for the preceding 2 years. It is necessary for the book to be in the library of the Society. The library likes to be complete and we need to have something to judge. The way this works is that the Crawford Medal Committee meets earlier in the year at some convenient time, probably in February or March, and we go through very carefully, it takes quite a long time, all of the books that have been submitted. Have them usually in the room where we've been taking coffee and lunch. Table is in the middle. We have all the books and we very carefully go through them. Now, the Crawford Medal Committee is appointed by the Council. The requirement is that the Medal Committee members are knowledgeable about research, publishing flatly in perhaps their own speciality, but more in a wider way, so that they're able to make a good and balanced judgment about the books. Each book is discussed. No book is rejected because of any prejudice whatsoever. It can be on any subject so long as it's broadly philatelic. It takes a long time to go through the list. And we essentially keep dividing the pile of books into two till we get to 6, 7, 8. There's not a precise number, but of that order, these are those books you see. This is the short list. And I think it's enormously important to say, since we've changed how we run this, to say that those that have been nominated are, including the winner, which we will discover later, are of the first order of philatelic literature that is around in the last 2 years. I've seen, and I'm not quite sure how long I've been a member of the Crawford Medal Committee, it's probably 20 years or so, standard of scholarship improve, partly because of the sorts of things we were talking about today and yesterday. It has improved greatly. The internet and the availability of communication has made scholarship much, much easier. So we've seen a great improvement, and for some years I certainly felt, and other members of the committee certainly felt, that we were awarding one medal to one book in every year, but there could have been half a dozen other winners, quite easily, and they came up to the standard. But we have to find the best fits the criteria, and that's often quite tough. It really is. And so it's why we've changed the system so that you can be nominated onto the short list, which we then consider vote upon at a subsequent meeting. So I think it's quite important for the society, and I've said this in the committee, and I think the council are going to take it up, that in addition to those listed as the medal winners from the beginning in 1921, we also list those that were nominated, a bit like Screen Awards, nominated for, is also a big cachet in addition to just winning the medal. And I'm hoping that society is going to continue the listing of all of the shortlisted, including the winner of the medal. So we meet on a second meeting when the members of the committee have had a further opportunity of looking closely at the shortlisted books, going through them, and then we meet again once we've had an opportunity of doing that. And many members of the committee will have the books in their own libraries anyway. And we meet again to draw up a short list. Usually it takes 2 or 3 hours because we go through the various merits of the books, and then process is that we have some voting forms. Each member of the committee, in secret, will nominate by a cross or a tick or whatever we decided to do, I can't remember now, I think it's a cross, on a sheet of paper which we think should be the Crawford Medal winner this year. These are not seen by anyone. They're put into sealed envelopes, which Simon has here. There we are. He's going to show it you to there. They're all sealed. They were sealed on the day. Nobody has seen them. It's going to be very interesting and exciting when he does the unsealing. Let's hope the sealing can be undone. In the event that there is a tie, President, who chairs the Crawford Medal Committee, has a vote which then will be the tiebreaker. So Simon's looking a little, because Simon's doing the good bit, if Simon's looking a bit confused, he's shuffling papers and seeing what the chairman of the Crawford Medal Committee has said. And now I think I've said enough. I hand over to Simon.
Well, thank you, David. We've got the envelope here, but before we get on to the exciting bit, we're actually going to present certificates to all the shortlisted books, and there is actually a certificate for each author. I will let you know in advance there is only one medal. So in the event that a book is chosen with more than one author, you will have to sort that out between yourselves. So, and we're going to do this, this has been arranged in alphabetical order by author, which is not the order you have there, but it may be the order you have on the shelf underneath. So if I can ask Eduardo Barreiras to come up, the Portuguese India book. I should have prefaced my remarks by saying I'm only standing in for the President, who I think most of you will know has gone to Mike Roberts' funeral, which is unfortunately on the same day as this. Not this Mike Roberts, no. The other one is here, yes. We will now have that confusion. The second certificate is for Lars Engelbrecht, who I don't think is here. Lars is working, oh dear. The next certificate then, we're moving on to the Rhodesian Philately book, Patrick Flanagan, Colin Hoffman, and so Colin, I know you're here, Patrick's not. Now we move on to big work, the stamp taxes in Texas, stamp taxes of Nevada, Michael Mahler. Michael's not with us though, so send that on. And now we move on to the postal routes to the Dutch possessions in West Africa and the West Indies. Sven Palman. Sven. I think we've got, yes, two here again, Stephen Ray Johnson and David Spivak with the British South Africa Company Admiral Stamps. Either here, okay. And then we move on to Rhodesian Philately to 1924, which is Brian Trotter. Brian's not here, no? He's not today, right. And finally, I think, the inks of the Delarue Company, Peter Young. I don't think Peter's here either. No, well, so that's the certificates. We will pass those on to the authors. And now we have the envelope. Now we have two scrutineers who volunteered, Jeff Anthony and Anthony Newson. So if you'd like to come up, chaps. Now I think the way we did this last year, we opened the envelope and then we read out who it was. So we will announce each one as we reveal it. And most of the members will be able to keep a running count. I don't think the number's that great, but then if you put them into piles on the tables, and we have to separate out the envelope that contains the President's casting vote. You open it.
No,
So the first one. So the first vote has gone to the Postal Stationery of Denmark. The second vote has gone to the Postal Stationery of Denmark. And we don't know how many votes we've got, do we? So keeps the excitement going. The third vote has gone to Portuguese India. The fourth vote is for the Postal Stationery of Denmark, so that's 3-1, for those of you keeping count. Still time. Ah. It's like how many minutes of extra time? We're not telling you. The fifth vote, Postal Stationery of Denmark, 4-1. Oh. We may be getting the sixth vote, Postal Stationery of Denmark. Yeah, there probably is enough, but you know, some people may want to think they got more votes. Oh, and the seventh, a late goal back, Portuguese India. So we're at 5-2, I think. And but eighth and last vote, Postal Stationery of Denmark. So, and Lars is unfortunately not here. Congratulations to the bearers. You're the only other ones who got any votes. So congratulations. Well done. What do we, Beata, would you like to just receive it on Lars's behalf so we can at least use the photo opportunity? Thank you. Right. Should we get the certificate out as well? Thank you all. That does conclude the voting for the Crawford Medal. I hope you enjoyed the process. And next year we'll be back again. Now I think I'm handing back to our Master of Ceremonies for the afternoon, Chris. Oh, Mark, you don't want a bright orange one, apparently. Nice orange.
I don't know, they must be more than colour-coded, I think. Yes, Lars Engelbrecht says, I am so happy. Wow. So I wrote to Lars and said, congratulations, Crawford Medal. And he wrote back saying, really, with a series of question marks. So, so he knows. One of the things that you might not know is that I read every word of that book because it came to me as an English script, an English typescript. And it was one of my pieces of pro bono proofreading. So, congratulations to the nominees. Congratulations to Lars Engelbrecht, the winner. Thank you, David, for a very clear exposition of how we go about, what we go about. And my apologies to the audience for confusing you. And thank you very much for Simon. There's a poem called My Dad's Thumb. One of the purposes of My Dad's Thumb is for busting open envelopes. It's a children's poem, so I was watching various thumbs busting open envelopes. We are early. Yes, yeah, no, he says he's coming to London tomorrow, yes. So when I spoke to Lars, he said it's his year end, the company is really busy. And obviously we've trumped that with the Crawford Medal, so that's great news. We are early, fairly early, because dinner's at 6. I don't think I can spin out very much more time, there is wine downstairs and nibbles downstairs, and so we can go and be sociable. And we still have the exhibition upstairs if you want to have a look, I think. So I want to thank our speakers this morning, Mike Roberts, our later speakers, Tony Bard, Claudio Manzatti, Guy Thomas, Wendy Buckle, Rob May, our Crawford nominees who've come to join us, Luis and Eduardo Barreros, Sven Palman, Colin Hoffman, and thanks also to the other authors who couldn't be here. I want to say again, thank you, David. You've really been a stalwart help this last couple of days, and I'm most grateful. I want to thank Bill Barrell Limited, bottom right-hand corner of the screen, for essentially paying for this event. So very grateful for Bill Barrell's sponsorship. And I want to thank you all for coming. Mike and Mark for the technology, and Nicola for her patience, forbearance, and occasional irritation. This is my swan song, because tomorrow I'm retiring. Not shy on retiring, just retiring. And I thought about, what do I do this morning? I need to thank everybody who's supported me as a member of the council, as a member of the Philatelic, as chairman of the Philatelic Collections Committee, as chairman of the Collections Committee, which looks after the library and the museum and the archive, because I might be standing here, but actually the society runs with 7 members of staff and a bit, and runs with something more than 160 volunteers. And without all those volunteers, nothing gets done in this building. And yes, I looked after the move, but actually there were a lot of other people who were involved in making that move work. Not the least of whom was Nicola. Packing the museum, packing the library, inventorying everything and getting it here was something I had absolutely nothing to do with. And there were many, many, many others involved in all of this. So thank you to everybody who supported me. I thought this morning, years ago, many years ago, I played Prospero in The Tempest. And I thought this morning our revels now are ended. And our revels for today and yesterday are certainly ended. Our revels now are ended. And we are such stuff as dreams are made on, and our little life is rounded with a sleep. And by God, I'm looking forward to getting home tonight. And I thought also about Prospero, I'll break my staff, and deeper than did ever plummet sound, I'll drown my book. But actually, I'm not actually going away. I'm going to be lurking around, irritating people. And there's one other line from The Tempest, which is, or 2 other lines from The Tempest, which I'll address to the audience, which is, as you from crimes would pardon be, and I didn't do this on stage, I can tell you, let your indulgence set me free. Thank you. That's right.